Alrighty, everybody. It is currently Thursday, July 4th, July 24th. Apologies, I don't know. I'm just such a patriot. I always got July 4th on the mind. It is July 24th, 2025, and I'm coming at you live from an abandoned dumpster behind a Walmart. There we go. Got it out. That was a tough one. That was a tough one to get out. That was not an easy adventure in the expression of language. That was a tough one for me, as is most of this, to be fully honest with myself and with you guys. Most of this is pretty tough. It's pretty tough for me to speak, to articulate thoughts, really to even form the thought in the first place is not it's not an easy task for me, but hey, that's why we do this, all right? We do this to improve myself. I have no ulterior motive. I don't even want money out of this. If I somehow made however much Joe Rogan makes, $80 million a year, if I made $80 million a year, I would only take 79 million of it and I'd give the rest to charity, all right? Because that's the kind of fucking hardworking, good souled, lunch pail dude I am, all right? Got a good heart inside of me, just a good old fashioned Midwest American living on a farm. You know what I mean? Eating corn for dinner, waking up in the morning, drinking my milk, going out and taking care of the pigs, all right? It's just the type of man I am. If they gave me $80 million a year, I'd say I only need about 79 of that, all right? And you can give the rest to whatever charity you choose, unless that charity gives care to transgender children or people of any kind. I would say avoid that charity, but anything else, and also not Muslims. I don't want my money going to those fucking assholes or the Jews as well. And I've kind of had enough with the Christians at this point, so don't give the money to them. And I mean, women, they just bitch all the fucking time. I've had enough of their bullshit. All right, go start an OnlyFans or something if you need money that bad. And I really wouldn't want it going to children because, I mean, once again, uh, I just had enough of them. Really, in general, I've had enough of them not knowing how to talk and how to add and how to do all that basic bullshit that I've known how to do for, I mean, my entire life, basically. It's like, figure it out, dude. Everyone else can do it. You can figure it out too. Animals, I don't know. A few of them are okay, but the rest, I don't want them getting their grubby little hands on it. So no animals either. So really, you can just I'll just keep the money and figure out something myself. I'll kind of run my own charity option type of thing. That's what I'll do. I'll run my own charity. I'll keep the money and I'll give it to charity. And then the rest of the 79 million, I'll just, I don't know, use some sort of like offshore tax loophole, and really just keep all that and hoard it and really not spend it on anything. I'll continue to live the way I've always lived, in a room infested with ants, with a room infested with ants and mice. That's how I'll continue to live. No rats, dude. I'm not. If you have rats, that truly is a sign of a trash person. I've had a pet rat before. I know how big fucking rats are, dude. If you have rats in your house or your apartment, even, I get it. It's harder to like maintain like a bubble of security or a bubble of like prevention of pestilence if you live in an apartment, right? Just because the people that live right next door to you, they might live a super fucking messy, shitty life, not take care of their apartment or themselves or whatever. But I mean, those things are like the size of a cat, dude. They're 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 hard to miss. They're pretty easy to find, pretty simple creatures to spot. So yeah, if you have rats, if you have mice, those things are fucking tiny, dude, and they're so fast. It's literally like the baby zombie from Minecraft. They're impossible to hit. I don't know, like I feel like I've tried. I've tried to fucking like chase down a mouse before and hit it with a fucking broom or whatever. You're not hitting that fucking thing. It's so I don't know how it's so fast, dude. Their legs are a centimeter long and they can move 90 miles an hour. It's one of the most insane fucking things I've ever seen in my entire life. But like I said, I've had rats before. I know they're not that fucking fast. It must be terrifying. It really must be terrifying to have rats. Because people talk about rats like they're a pest or whatever, like they're ants or not cockroaches, dude. Cockroaches are fucking terrifying too. But like talking about them like they're fucking ants or those little house centipedes or whatever. Like that's how people talk about rats. Dude, if I lived in a building that had rats, I wouldn't live in that building anymore. Like I get it. Maybe that's your only option. I don't know. Go find a homeless shelter or just move cities. Like for like I would seriously move cities if I could not find a place to live without rats. Those things, they're they're like 5 pounds, dude. Like like if you dropped a mouse or if you like Yeah, if you like dropped a mouse like off a bookshelf height or whatever, you would not hear that thing hit the ground. If you fucking dropped like a rat off like a bookshelf height, you'd hear like, dude, that thing would smack against the ground, dude. Rats are like 20 pounds. They're gigantic. Yeah, and so like if I lived in an apartment like that, you would not catch me living there. I would just move out of the city. Just not tell anyone. And people, why'd you move out of the city? I don't know. Maybe because of the giant fucking things with giant sharp teeth and fucking reptilian tails that run around this goddamn city like they own it, dude. Maybe that was the reason I moved out of here. I'm not having any of the rats, dude. And Kansas doesn't really have rats like that. We have mice. We have a fair amount of mice. I've had mice in my house before, and mice are also they're cute, dude. Rats maybe are like smarter and they're probably better pets than mice are, but mice are just so fucking cute, dude. They have like those big old eyes and like those tiny faces and like their twitching noses and stuff like that. And their tail, they do have a bit of that like a weird reptilian tail, you know what I mean? That scaly fucking tail, right? Like a dried worm or whatever that rats have, but it's so small and like skinny. And I feel like it does have a bit of fur on it, whereas a rat is just like that thing's tail is like the worst your gooch skin has ever looked in your life, right? Or like your asshole after you just had like spicy fucking Asian diarrhea. That's what a rat's tail is like. Like it's the roughest surface possible, dude. You could polish diamonds with like the texture of a rat's tail. Those things are fucking absurd. And like I said, they're huge and they have sharp claws and they're also pretty smart. Like in terms of like rodents and shit, like rodents are pretty stupid, right? Like that's why we do experiments on them and shit like that. And that's also why I don't listen to fucking like the scientists when they're like, we did an experiment with a mouse and its psychology did this. And it's like, well, it's a mouse, dude. It's dumber than a retarded person, right? Like that's how stupid mice are. I don't give a shit. But rats are like fairly smart. They train those fuckers to like sniffer drugs and fucking, mines and bombs and shit like that. So rats are pretty fucking smart and they're gigantic and they have sharp ass claws and gigantic teeth, dude. Like I've been bitten by a hamster before and I don't know if I've ever been bitten by a mouse. I know I've been bitten by like an abused hamster in like second grade, right? When you go over to your friend's house in second grade and they have like that bright purple fucking plastic hamster cage and they just like abuse the shit out of that thing. Don't feed it, never change its wood chips. It's just living in a house of shit with no food. Right? And you try to pick up the hamster and it bites you. I've had that happen to me before. I didn't, when I had my pet rat, never had it bite me. Yeah. And if I think I did, I would have probably stomped it into a thousand. That thing takes off your finger, dude. I might rather be attacked by a pit bull than a rat, dude. Because a pit bull, it's like a nice big fucking thing, right? It'll get a good hold of your arm, probably like tear a chunk of flesh out, but like you can just punch the shit out of it. If that happens with a rat's just gonna bite you real quick and try to scurry off. You're not hitting that thing, dude. You're not punching that thing. You're more likely to punch the floor or the wall or whatever when you're trying to punch the rat, or you're gonna miss it if you try to step on it. So I think I'd rather be attacked by like a fucking pit bull and just wail on that thing, dude. Just full on, like in the UFC when they get a TKO and they're trying to finish the job, like those hammer fists they throw at them. That's what I'd be doing to a pit bull. But a rat, that little fucker, that little smart little thing is gonna scurry right the fuck off, hit the walls, and you're never gonna see his ass again, dude. You're not even gonna get your revenge, dude. If I get attacked by a pit bull, I'm getting my revenge one way or another. Even if they pull that thing off me before I fucking kill it, I'm tracking that thing down like I'm John Wick and blowing the brains out of its fucking head, dude. That's what I'm doing if I get attacked by a pit bull or really any kind of dog, dude. Any dog, any large animal like that tries to attack me, it's fucking getting it, dude. I don't care. I don't care if it's a fucking grizzly bear or whatever. I am not playing dead, dude. I'm going out swinging. And to be fair, most of those swings are probably going to be misses. Most of those swings are probably going to be like me on my back, like screaming while the bear eats my fucking intestine, just screaming and like flailing my fist. Right? That's probably what it would be like. But I'm going out swinging, dude, because playing dead, I don't know. I feel like they'd also eat a dead thing, right? I don't think that grizzly bears are like overtly like averse to eating dead animals. I don't think that's like a thing that they're like, oh, he's dead, and they can smell too. Like those things have insanely strong senses of smell. That thing's gonna smell that it's hearing too. Like you snap a fucking twig in the forest, every animal within a 3 mile radius runs away, right? And so a grizzly bear, that thing could definitely fucking hear if you're breathing, and it can definitely smell if you're alive or not. That thing will eat you the fuck alive. I don't know where that like I'm gonna call it a myth, dude. People might be like, "Oh, it's not a myth. It actually works." I don't know, dude. I don't fucking believe it. All right, that thing can definitely fucking tell that you're still alive, dude. It has no reason not to eat you at that point, right? Especially if you sprayed yourself with some nice bug spray or some sunscreen or something like that. It's got a little bit of seasoning on there, dude. That bear's gonna munch into you like you're a rack of ribs, dude. That thing definitely knows you're still alive. Yeah, that's a complete myth. It definitely still knows you're alive. There's no way it doesn't. It's probably just like it almost probably feels bad for you at that point, right? It's probably like, is this thing so fucking stupid that it doesn't know that I can tell it's alive, right? Like a deer knows that a bear has all those fucking senses and shit like that. So the deer isn't gonna play dead. That thing's gonna make a beeline away. And quite frankly, if you're not smart enough to like run circles around a bear or like serpentine or some shit, you kind of deserve to get got like that. I'm sorry. If you get eaten by a grizzly bear and you're not like sleeping in a tent, it's kind of your fault, right? Hit the water or something. No way a fucking grizzly bear. I'm sure they can swim decently well, but there's no way they can swim like us, dude. If I encounter a grizzly bear in the woods, I'm turning into prime fucking Michael Phelps, dude. I'm hitting the butterfly, just like splashing through the water as fast as I can, dude. No way, no way I'm letting that thing fucking eat me. Not a chance in hell. And if it does eat me, hey, circle of life, man. I'd rather have a fucking bear eat me than die when I'm 90 from fucking dementia and 10 different types of cancer and then have my body fucking filled with formaldehyde or whatever and put in the ground and it just like preserves me for I don't want that shit to happen to me, dude. Feed me to a bear or something, dude. Turn me into a nice little fucking treat for a lion at the zoo or something like that. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but there's currently thunder going on and it's crazy fucking thunder because it's really not it's not like dark storm clouds. It's one of those clouds that you're like, "Oh, there could be rain with that or it could just pass right over us." But it is banging with thunder. I don't know if you guys can hear that. And it's like above where I'm at right now. I don't know. It has been like 10 minutes since I went outside, but it was like bright and fucking sunny. And just the thunder is so loud on like a cloud it's a pretty normal looking cloud. That thing doesn't look like it's going to be producing thunder like that. It's like one of those chicks that's like low key thick as hell. Right? It's like you know, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. I don't know if you that was a lightning strike, dude. I might get shocked through the mic right now, dude. That thing might travel through the fucking house, through the electricity, shock me alive. Yeah, that is some intense thunder out there. And my dog's definitely freaking the fuck out right now, but there's nothing I can do. It's he's completely irrational. I've tried to have this discussion with him before, like, hey, you're inside that nothing's gonna happen to you while you're inside the house. And he still doesn't fucking listen to me, dude. I'm trying to, sit the guy down for a calm, you know, educational explanation as to what's happening, and he just doesn't listen. And even when I like pet him and try to be like, "Hey, it's okay," the fucker that makes him freak out even more. I don't know what his problem is, dude. It's becoming an issue. We might have to we might have to put him down. Putting down your dog because it's scared of thunder sometimes. Yeah, we might have to fucking shoot him in the back of the head with a 12 gauge shotgun. And I think he knows English. I think he knows a little bit of English, dude. I don't know. I was watching The Big Short, and I was just like quoting, like as I was watching the movie, my dog was like laying next to me, and I kept being like, "You're my Quan," for some reason. I don't know. I was very, I was very, very tired. I was like basically asleep at that point. I've basically been asleep for like the past several days, dude. I really haven't been able to form a thought. And when I get super sleepy, I get like jumpy, like someone like taps me on the shoulder and I'm like, what the fuck is that? Right? Like that's how I get when I'm really fucking tired. And so I've basically been schizophrenic for like it's like 5 days. I know what it's like, dude, and I don't have any more sympathy for him. Just man up, dude. Just schizophrenics just need a little bit of confidence in themselves. I think that's what it is, you know what I mean? Stop fucking walking with your head down, mumbling to the voices or whatever. Just be like, dude, fuck off. I'm done with your ass. I'm not dealing with this shit anymore. Stop fucking talking to me. Like I think that's what schizophrenics need. You know, they don't need all these drugs and this therapy and shit like that. They just need to go to like an Andrew Tate alpha male class. They just start walking with your chest out. Fucking keep your chin up. Start mewing and only drink raw milk, all right? And the fucking voices, they'll stop fucking with you because they know you're an alpha male, all right? Think that's I think that's what they need. But no, I haven't been having any voices. I just get like kind of jumpy where I'm like listening to music or whatever and someone like says something to me and I'm like, what the fuck? Right? Like that's I don't know what it is. And I think that that shows that I'm more of a flight person than a fight person because a lot of people when they get super sleepy like that, they get like irritable. And I'm not like super irritable when I'm tired like that. Maybe a little bit. Definitely when I get irritable when I'm hungry, but not really when I'm tired. Like I said, when I'm tired, I just get like a bit jumpy where I'm just like, what the fuck? What's going on? But not constantly either. It'll just be like the occasional thing where I'm kind of like I don't know, I guess like dozing off while I'm standing up almost, but like my brain's still functioning. I think that's what it is. I'm just like my body like wants to sleep and my mind wants to sleep so badly that it's kind of like I don't know, like mini sleeping almost. I don't know what it is, but I get real fucking jumpy when I'm tired. Don't know. Don't know how to explain it, dude. Maybe I need to go to therapy or something. Maybe I've been traumatized. That is that is the ultimate excuse, dude. I guess everyone is traumatized nowadays. And I know that's like the boomer take, like, oh, everyone's fucking gay or trans or they have autism or whatever. But I do feel like you hear a lot of people being like, my trauma. Yeah, dude. Like, I don't know. Having experiences in life changes you as a person. Like that's like that's literally what it's like with some of these people. They're like, my trauma from like doing well on not doing well on math tests made me want to be an English major instead of a math major. And it's like, no, that's not trauma. You just learned you're bad at math. Right? Or it'll be like, my trauma made me fucking not want to, drive anymore. And it's like you're just bad at driving. Like I don't know what you want me to say. Get better at driving or move to a city where you don't have to drive. Like it's so it's very funny that everyone has trauma, but it's just like learning experiences in life. Right? It's like whenever I would like yell at my mom, she would like yell back at me and like that's just so traumatic. And it's like, no, you just learn that when you yell at people, they get mad at you. Right? You learned a life lesson. You weren't traumatized. You learned an important thing about life that's going to help you moving forward. You weren't it's not drama, all right? That's called being a human being, right? It's I don't know, maybe people like want their lives to be perfect. I want my life to be perfect, but I don't you can't expect it, right? You can be like, "Damn, life would be so much better if it was perfect." But that's it's like obviously true, right? It's obvious that your life is imperfect and if it was perfect, you would enjoy it more. I don't know. But I'm traumatized. I've been traumatized by the thunder before. I and some people are like still scared of thunder as adults. Like there still are people that are like, "Oh my god, what's going on with the thunder?" I don't know. Like I've slept outside enough, in tents or whatever to be like not scared of the thunder. Even with those like thunder claps, I guess. I was going to call it a thunder strike, but it's a lightning strike and a thunder clap, right? Even with like some of those loud ass thunder claps, dude, I've had ones that are like those fuckers will turn you temporarily deaf. Like sleeping out in the woods in Missouri in like the middle of like June, July and shit like that. The 6th and 7th months of the year, 6, 7. Had to throw that nice little reference in there for the real memers out there, the real dank lord memers. That's all brain rot is, by the way. That's all it is. But yeah, the thunder just doesn't get to me. Doesn't get to me at all. Even with the occasionally a real loud one, it'll startle me real quick and then I'll just be like, "Am I a fucking dog, dude? Am I a golden retriever?" No, I'm not. I'm a human being and I'm able to think about stuff rationally. But yeah, brain rot really is just like dank meme like, "Oh, that's not random." It's literally just like potato. I'm a potato. That's all it is, right? I don't know if maybe some of the youngins, I'm a bit of an unk now. I'm 21 years old. I'm a bit of an old man. Maybe some of these youngins don't remember like derp, potato, pancakes. I'm so crazy. But that's what brain rot is. It's like 6, 7. It's so It's all it is. It's just like, I'm a dank memer. There's nothing funny about it. The funny thing about it is like that's so dumb, right? It's so stupid that I said 6-7 and I said mustard and mango, and it's like it was remotely funny the first time you said it, but now it just means nothing anymore because it meant nothing in the first place, right? Like those jokes like that, like I don't know if people, maybe I'm talking a complete foreign language to some people, but like the brain rot trends on TikTok, the reason they're funny is because they're nonsense, right? But it's really only funny the first time you like say it or do it because after that point you're just repeating nonsense, right? And there's nothing really funny about that to me. Maybe some people are like, "Well, that's so random. He said mustard. He said mango. He said six." And people that have never heard of this stuff before are gonna be like, "What the fuck is this guy talking about, dude? What mango mustard?" It's it's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my entire life, and that's what makes it funny the first time. And I understand it. I understand that a lot of these people that think this shit's funny are like 12 years old or whatever. But even at 12 years old, I was still like, all right, dude, you said potato derp once. I'm kind of over it now. Right? Even at 12, I was like, okay, dude, I get it. You're a potato and you're derpy. Like, I'm I'm done with it. I got to get back to this fucking coloring page or whatever 12-year-olds do. I'm pretty sure 12-year-olds do. Certainly now 12-year-olds do coloring pages. Probably not when I was 12 years old, but now they're definitely having 12-year-olds do coloring pages because none of these kids can fucking read. They can't read. They can't like do 1 + 1 = 2. It's shocking. Some of them can't even talk when they're like 12 years old. They're still like mind your gumbucket and your toy and your boy, right? They're still doing like fucking toddler baby talk, dude. There's like 17-year-olds out there right now that are like, and like when a little kid tries to tell you a story, right? And they're like, and the zoo and the tiger and the right? Like that's how fucking like some 17-year-olds are talking. It's insane. I don't know what the solution is, right? I've never been a parent before. I've never had to like teach something that doesn't know how to talk. Although I've tried. We had a parrot for a little bit, one of those little cockatiels, which I don't think they can talk. I think I like learned that after it died. I, I like learned that that's not one of the ones that talks a lot. I'm sure you can teach it a word here or there, and they whistle like a motherfucker, dude. If you want a pet bird, do not get a cockatiel. Those bitches do not shut, and certainly don't get it a mirror, because we got it a mirror, and it would just like sing to itself all day. And maybe it was going insane. Maybe that's what was happening because parrots are like pretty smart animals. So maybe the bird was going insane just staring at its own reflection all day. That might have been what was happening, and it was in a pretty small cage. But we let that fucker out every day, dude. We let him have a little bit of running time. He was basically in solitary confinement, dude. If a person can survive for 2 years in solitary confinement, I don't know what that fucking bird's problem was, dude. And we did, and it was like a rescue bird, which is the rescue dog people in and of themselves, they're insane, right? They get like the most traumatized dog that just like wants to rip every human being to shreds, and they're like, no, you don't understand, he's nice. And it's like, no, he's not, dude. For one, that's a pit bull. It's an animal that was literally designed to fucking rip chunks of flesh out of like bears and pigs and shit like that. So, and then on top of that, it was like beaten for 12 years straight. It's not a nice animal. I'm sorry. I hate to break it to you. You just got to kill it. It's these people will have like they think dogs are people. They think that dogs which I know was ironic me saying that after I just I was talking to my dog earlier, but they think that like dogs it's not a fucking person, dude. You're not going to like have a calm, rational conversation with it where you're like, "Hey, I understand that you're angry at the world. I understand that you're upset at the world, but you need to calm down a little bit, okay?" Like that's not how dogs work. It's these people, I think they're unaware of that fact. Dogs are incapable of like truly learning English. They can learn like 3 words. They can learn what like 3 different words mean. Other than that, that thing's not going to speak English, right? Like those people, I don't know if you guys have ever seen this on like social media or like YouTube or whatever, of like these people that have like a bunch of buttons and each one of the buttons makes a different noise, right? It's like one of those "that was easy" buttons from like Staples or whatever where you click it and it goes "that was easy." but they program it, I guess, to say different words, and they're like, my dog speaks English, and it's like, no, he doesn't, dude. Your dog doesn't. A fucking They tried that with a gorilla. They've tried that shit with like chimpanzees before. Those fuckers do not learn English. Dude, that thunder is getting. I might have to go check on my dog real quick because that motherfucker is probably freaking the fuck out right now. And he doesn't do anything about it. That's the other thing that pisses me off. We had this other dog. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. I'm definitely going to have to go check on them. I don't know if you guys heard that fucking noise, but this guy's probably freaking the fuck out right now. It's okay. I'm coming. All right, we are back. I gave that little motherfucker some trazodone. And yes, by the way, we are one of those families that fucking gives our dog pills, but only when it's freaking out, dude. Like these these people that got like a Xanax prescription for their fucking inbred French bulldog. We're not one of those people, but I mean, yeah, if he's running around the house fucking just freaking out, we're gonna give him a little something to take the edge off. We used to just give him a shot of whiskey here or there, but then the vet told us that that would kill him, so we started giving him trazodone. All right, we used to just we used to give the guy a nip off the old bottle, a little bit of Jim Beam, a little bit of Evan Williams, just a sip of bourbon for the guy to enjoy, just chill him out a little bit, and. As I say, I gave him that pill. The storm is passing, but I think it's going to be back. So I'm kind of glad I gave him the fucking pill because he's gonna be, I mean, freaking out, dude. He was already freaking out. He was like, just wants to get like so close to you, right? When there's a thunderstorm and he's freaking out, he wants to like get inside of you, and he has like giant teeth. He's a border collie, but he's a pretty big border collie, and he has huge fucking teeth. And his mouth is just like wide open, and he's like salivating with his gigantic teeth out, looking like he's ready to fucking rip someone's throat to shreds. It's scary, but also his legs don't work properly, so I'm not that fucking scared of him. But yeah, we're not one of those families that's just like we got this motherfucker on a strict diet of like Klonopin and Xanax and shit like that. We're not one of those people. And a lot of those people, the problem isn't that the dog has anxiety. The problem is the dog is like severely fucking inbred, right? Like I was saying, French bulldogs. I did that episode about pugs, and somehow pugs are like more inbred than what is technically possible. They're the most inbred. It's like, yeah, that's why your dog is like has anxiety or is freaking because its brain isn't the size of a normal brain. It's probably missing some of the parts that a normal brain has, right? Like that's why your dog's freaking out. Your dog is freaking out because its brain, its fucking head is like filled with water and shit like that. Your dog is freaking out because it can't breathe, right? If you have a pug or a French bulldog or a bulldog or really fucking any dog like that, the reason that it has problems with anxiety is because it's not able to function properly in any other aspect of its life. It's not able to breathe properly. It's not able to move properly. It won't even die properly. It will die with no respect at all. It'll be like and then it'll just die. It doesn't Those animals can't do anything right, and because we made them not be able to do anything right. And I feel bad for him a little bit, but this guy, he has none of those excuses. He's probably a little bit inbred, which is why his legs don't fucking work at all. Right? He's probably a touch inbred, but he's not. If I had to guess, I wouldn't say he's like super fucking severely inbred. We got him from a dude who's been breeding dogs. He's like from Scotland, and he's been breeding dogs for like, I don't his family's been doing it for like 500 fucking years. Like those dogs have seen they've seen like the rise and fall of the British Empire. So I guess he probably knows what he's doing, and I don't know if he's inbred or the dog is. The Scottish guy probably is because the British killed all of them, and then they had to like fuck their cousins in order to maintain their country, and that's why they're all inbred. Same with the Irish, but I don't think my dog is inbred at all, but he's acting like a fucking inbred dude. He's running around screaming and hollering. He's acting like a fucking Whitaker, dude. He's acting like Ray Whitaker, which is I've referenced that family a few times. If you have not seen any of the Whitaker videos, it's the funniest thing on earth. I don't People are, oh, it's so sad. It's so sad they're inbred and they don't, function. I get it, dude. It's tough, but it's so funny that one of them can only communicate through barks, dude. That's like something from like The Hills Have Eyes, or I'm sorry. I'm sorry that the Whitakers being as inbred as that. Like some inbred people You know, like you see these videos from like England, right, where a ton of Pakistanis are moving there and they all like marry their cousins and shit. And you see some of those guys and like they're walking around and they're just like Plants versus Zombies type shit. They're just that's a little bit sad. But when you see like a nice Ray Whitaker who has all of his physical functions and it seems like even a fair amount of his mental functions because the guy's like 70 years old, but he just can't talk. All he can do is bark. There's something funny about that. There's it just it just is very very funny that this guy and he does look a little bit fucked up, right? His face is a little bit fucked up, same with his body, but it's he that could be like you could see that dude in public and just be like, yeah, he has kind of like a fucked up face, right? But he barks and it's the funniest thing. And his eyes are like wonky and crooked and shit like that. It's dude, Ray Whitaker, there's no one funnier than that guy. There just naturally. That guy was born funnier than everyone else. Just because he can only talk in barks and his eyes are fucking wonky, dude. It's so if you fucking you don't feel bad, yeah, I feel bad for the guy. But what the fuck am I gonna do, right? There's literally nothing me or anyone else can do. The guy's just gonna keep barking with his fucking wonky eyes, whether I'm sad about it or whether I'm happy about it. So I might as well be happy about it, dude. I might as well let out a little fucking giggle when I'm looking at Ray Whitaker. All right, the guy and he seems like a fun-loving guy. He seems like he enjoys himself a fair bit. He seems like he's always got like a dip in, or he's sipping on a bottle of whiskey or something like that. I like Ray Whitaker. Sorry, I don't know. Maybe that makes me a racist, but I like him. You know, right? He's hilarious. He's the funniest. He's funnier than anyone else. There's no one that's funnier than him. Holy shit! Why the fuck is my phone? That terrified me. I don't know if you guys heard that. My phone just started like talking to me, and it was like "hello," and I was like, "Fuck, dude." The Israelis have heard what I've said about them, and they're finally fucking cut. That terrified me. It probably wasn't that scary, but like I said, when I'm tired, I get fucking jumpy, dude. And that I don't know, maybe I like clicked a button or something. I do need to restart my phone. It has been telling me to restart it for like 5 days so that I can update it or whatever. But that fucking terror, it was just hello. Dude, I thought the Mossad fucking finally got the lock on me. I thought fucking, Eli Cohen or whoever the fuck was gonna come pull up and blow my brains out. And I think Eli Cohen is the name. He's like an actual Mossad. He's like the guy that founded the Mossad or something like that. But yeah, I thought he was about to pull up with the fucking Uzi and just show me what time it was. Just show me how they do it over there. I thought they were about to treat me like a fucking Palestinian child. Just straight fucking airstrike, obliterate me, turn my body into mist, dude. That was scary. I don't care what anyone says. When your phone just starts talking to you like that, that is no good, dude. That's scary. Maybe ChatGPT, heard a little bit of the shit I was talking about, and I was like, "All right, dude, you think I'm a fucking moron? Yeah, would a moron be able to blow up your fucking phone and kill you?" I thought that's what. Remember when fucking Israel did that? Like they blew up all the pagers. Or I thought that was about to happen to me. I was like, "Fuck, dude, I'm not even in Hamas, and they're trying to take me out." I thought they were. I thought that, but they don't also care who's in Hamas, like, right? Like the IDF, they don't give a shit who's in Hamas. It's like it's, and they don't even care if it's like. It's really probably not even that much of a racial thing either. I do understand that it's like it's not like a full apartheid state, but they would prefer if you were white. Like that's that's what Israel is. But yeah, they don't care. They don't care if you're in Hamas or not. They're just like, "Oh, you said Israel shouldn't fucking kill children." Hamas. Found one. I found one, guys. This guy's in Hamas. Dude, I can't even I probably don't even know how to like properly pronounce Hamas. It's probably like Hamas. I don't even know how to fucking properly pronounce it. And they're like, "This guy, he's at it, dude." This little I couldn't be in it. I could not be in Hamas. I wish and no one really could. Like all of these Americans, even like the ones who are from, Palestine or Jordan or Iran or Kuwait or whatever that like live in America now, you couldn't be in Hamas either, dude. If you live in America, if you've spent any time in this country, you do not have the capability to be in Hamas or really any group that's similar to it, right? Like that's why we let the government mistreat us. We don't let the government mistreat us because like the majority of people think the government is doing what's right. That's that it's not true. It's not really been true for like my entire since I've been in like 7th grade. It hasn't been true that the majority of people think the government is doing what's right. The reason we let them mistreat us is because we're pussies, right? Me included. I'm not exempt from that. I am one of the pussies as well. Yeah, like seriously, if this was like 17, we would have burned the White House down a million times. Like everyone criticizes all those people for attacking the Capitol on January 6th, and it's like, dude, we should have. Maybe they were doing it for the wrong reasons. Maybe those people were attacking the Capitol because they thought Trump was going to come in, fucking, execute Hillary Clinton and make sure not another pedophile lives in America, right? Maybe they were wrong about like why they were doing it, but that's how this country was founded. And you'll call those people idiots, right? You'll call the January 6th dudes, you call them morons or whatever. But it's like that's also what the majority of people who fought for American independence were. They were the stupidest people that have ever lived, right? They're morons. They're idiots who moved from Europe to America, being like, it's going to be a better life for me. Or I guess they were British. It's going to be a better life for me here. And then they show up and get fucking scalped by the Wampasauket or whatever. I don't know. The Eastern dudes weren't doing that as much. They still were getting active, but they weren't scalping people. That's more of a plains group of people or like Apache type. Not everyone was taking off the scalps. But yeah, I mean the Jan 6 guys, you can call them retarded, but it's like, yeah, so were the majority of people who fought for our independence. They couldn't read, they couldn't write, they could barely survive. They they literally could barely do like the one thing that humans are throughout history have always been incredible at, survive, and they were barely able to do that. And so yeah, I just think it's funny that everyone's like they're idiots. And it's like, dude, it's if any of us had the courage to do that, right? Like if 30% of the people in this country had the courage to do that, the country would be completely different. I'm not saying it would be better, but it would be different because it's not like we're waiting for the government to do something even more wrong than what they've been doing, right? We all know that they've been fucking up since the 60s. Not even fucking up, intentionally harming the people of this country. They've been doing it since the 60s. And we just sit back and we watch because we're all pussies. It's some people are like, we're waiting for the right time to strike, right? Like and it's not a right versus left thing. It's like you guys are all pussies. We're all fucking pussies. We're all privileged little assholes who can't stand up for ourselves because we'd rather, you know what I mean, live in a totalitarian state. And I don't think it's a totalitarian state, but it's definitely not as functional as it could be. We'd rather live in a not in a barely functioning state that's safe than, maybe go out and a few of us die. And that's why this country will never have like another true civil war, because it's like all the people that do have the capability of like the mental capacity it takes to be a soldier, to be a warrior, to be someone who's able to fight, all of those people are already in the military. So we're not going to have another civil war. They're going to start executing citizens and no one's going to do anything. I've said that. It's This country isn't going to burn to the ground. It's going to slowly crumble into pieces, and then the government of the United States is going to give those pieces to Israel. It's what's going to happen here. Everyone's like, America will burn. No, it won't. It won't be that fucking exciting. I hate to break it to you. It's going to be pretty fun. The downfall of America is just going to be, we're not going to get invaded like barbarians like the Romans did. We're not going to have like a giant all-out war with it's just going to, we're slowly going to crumble into pieces, and it just is going to be what it is, dude. And we're just going to be like a bunch of warring city states. And that's really the best option. The best option is that America crumbles into pieces and it just becomes like a feudal fucking, system of societies that are constantly at war with each other. That's the best case scenario for this country, dude. The worst case scenario, which is kind of what's happening, our tech overlords overtake everything and they just subjugate us and treat us like trash. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but it's probably what's going to happen, dude. We're probably not even going to have the fun of, being able to protect our feudal warlord. Sorry. I don't know if you guys heard that burp. I didn't want to put that one in the mic just because it was so embarrassing. That was a weak coward's burp, and I'm quite frankly embarrassed by it. But like I said, I am a pussy, just the same as everyone else, dude. Everyone's like, we're gonna fight for our freedom when the government steps over the line, that's when I pick up my guns and I fight for my freedom. Or I guess if you're on the left, it's like that's when I join Antifa and march in the street with my dirty fucking Converse. But it's like, no, you're not gonna. The government's already overstepped the line 10,000 times. It's seriously. That's all it's done. That's all it's since the government of the United States, the first time it got its the tiniest iota of power, it started stepping over that line, dude. It said, "Oh, there's a line there." It erased the line. There's no line anymore for the government to overstep. The government's going to do whatever it wants. It's going to kill American citizens. It's going to deport Americans. And this isn't like a Trump thing, right? This isn't me being like, oh, Trump is good at deport. They all did it. If Biden's brain was functioning properly, he would have done the exact same thing. It's not a left versus right, Trump versus who was the Kamala? I already forgot her fucking name. It's not a Trump versus it's they were all going to do it. Kamala probably would have been even worse because at least Kamala is like she's a career politician. She's been in these institutions, these governmental institutions for her entire career, not for her entire life, but for her entire career. She's been in like she understands governmental power. And so she probably would have been worse than Trump did. We would be living we kind of have to think, the overlords that Trump is in power, even though Trump really doesn't have that much power. I know people seem to think he does. He doesn't, dude. He opened up like one shitty tent prison in Florida. That's all Trump has done, dude. The people that actually have the power, they're not dumb like him. And my dog is out there whining, dude. I gave you a Xanax, bro. I gave you some Oxycontin. Why are you out there whining? I gave him a little bit, I gave him a little bit of fucking hydrocodone or whatever. I gave him a little bit of scissor. I put up some walk for him, and he's still out there fucking whining his ass off. I don't know what his problem is. Might have to go out there and just beat his ass real quick. I might be one of those dog owners, those people that just like beats the shit. Oh, all right, we're back for take 3. I just had to stop the recording and put up the studio real quick, the mattress. Had to put up the mattress real quick because my sister came home and I just didn't want to fucking embarrass myself like that. Be 100% honest. So I had to set up the fucking mattress real quick to get back to it. But yeah, it is what it is, man. We're gonna be talking. It's news. That's the theme of today's episode. That's the theme of every current events episode. All right, it's the news. We got to talk about the news a little bit. So our first article of the day is Justice Department official to meet with Epstein accomplice Maxwell. It's always funny to me that they call Ghislaine Maxwell the accomplice, as if we all don't know that she's the one who actually ran the whole thing, right? Like they she clearly ran the whole thing. Her dad did the same thing as her. She's just carrying on the family business, dude. Ghislaine Maxwell is like a 5th generation fucking pedophile overlord. Like she's clearly the one who ran. Jeffrey Epstein was just like some random fucking dude who just so happened to somehow have ties to like intelligence agencies and shit. Ghislaine is clearly the one running it. Her dad didn't do the exact same thing. They did a similar thing, and she's just carrying on the family legacy, dude. Ghislaine's just carrying on the family business. They're acting like she was just like the fucking sidekick to Jeffrey. No, she's the one who You really think only a woman could do something like that, And that's not to say that women are more evil than men. Men can be just as evil as women, and women can be just as evil as men. But like only a woman could like really run something that is just so. It's just so specifically morally vile that it's like only a woman could run something like that's that type of evil. A dude can run a genocide no problem. They've done it multiple times in history. I don't know if you guys are familiar with history, but they've done it more than enough times, right? Dudes have run a fair amount of genocides. But women, whenever they get in power, they're a little more. They're not better. That's a complete myth that like somehow women get in power and they're not better. They're just like it's just a different type of evil, right? It's just a type of evil that we're not used to. With like, Margaret Thatcher or whatever. She was just a different type of evil than what we were used to. She was still like a warmongering psychopath, but she was like a different type of warmongering psychopath. Same with Ghislaine Maxwell. I almost called her Ghislaine Epstein, dude. And to be fair, I do think that was I think that was Jeffrey's. I don't know if it was his main bitch. I think his main bitch was probably 12 years old. That was his little boo thing, you know? He probably had some type of feelings for Ghislaine. I certainly would. Ghislaine, you know, even this picture that I'm looking at right now, yeah, she has, like, the short, weird, like, culty lesbian haircut. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Heaven's Gate cult. I did. I can't remember if I did an episode about him or not, but they all have, like, the same weird haircut, and that's the haircut that Ghislaine has. But, dude, she's got the monsters on her, dude. She's got the fucking oh my god, she's got them things on her. Just a couple of yams just weighing herself down, dude. She's got the fun bags. You could you could fucking those things could protect you from a fucking fall from space, dude. That's the size of Ghislaine Maxwell's titties, dude. You could jump from the International Space Station and land on Ghislaine Maxwell's tits and you would be better. If you landed on Ghislaine Maxwell's tits from like after jumping from space, you would feel better. Her tits are huge. And in the picture that I'm looking at, I think I'm seeing a bit of nipplage. I think I'm seeing a little bit of poking out there. And I would be lying if I said it wasn't giving me a little bit hard. I'd be lying if I said that my penis wasn't at least partially erect right now. She's not the best face I've ever seen before, but I mean, the body is just, she's a bit of a Sarah J. That's what Ghislaine Maxwell is. Not the best face I've ever seen. Ugly is how I would describe it if I had to, take a step in a certain direction. I would describe Ghislaine Maxwell's face as ugly, but her body, dude. And she doesn't have the biggest butt. She doesn't have the biggest ass I've ever seen before. But I mean, I'd be lying if I said I didn't think Ghislaine Maxwell was hot. She's got them yitties. She's got a bit of ass. You know what I mean? She's not too skinny. She's not chunky. She's like she's got a great fucking body. People might deny it. People might not be able to accept it, but Ghislaine Maxwell is fucking hot. All right, and that's the stance I'll take on this situation. Some people are going to take the stance that she needs to be put in jail and that we need to release the list and kill everyone who's on the list. And some people are going to be like, guys, it's in the past. There's nothing we can do about it now. And I'm going to take the stance that Ghislaine Maxwell is hot. She's she's insanely it's absurd. I don't know why you would choose that line of work. Obviously I know why. It's because her dad was also involved in intelligence, and so she followed in his footsteps. But I mean, dude, she's not like a centerfold Playboy bunny type of girl, but she could have been in the magazine. I don't think she would have ever graced the front page, but I think she could have been in there making a decent bit of money, sucking Hugh Hefner's wrinkly old dick. I think she could have I think Ghislaine could have ventured into that territory because good lord, is she like I said, the face. Yeah, I'm gonna pass. It's if I had to describe her face, I would say it's a bit overly Jewish. I would say that's the look I get from her face. Big old nose and really nothing else going on. That's the type of face that Ghislaine Maxwell has going on. But I mean the body is crazy. If I was on that island, dude, even if I was like the most dedicated pedophile in the world, right? Even if I was a pedophile that could not stop touching kids or whatever, I would still be like, yo, you guys see fucking Ghislaine, dude? Fuck this 12-year-old that we stole from like Nicaragua or whatever. Give me Ghislaine. She's got that body on her. I don't care who you are, gay, straight, pedophile. Um, although I'm not comparing pedophile to gay and straight. I'm just saying that's kind of its own category. But I don't care who you're attracted to. I don't give a shit if you want to fuck furries or whatever those people are into. Ghislaine's got the body on her, dude. And it's not because that's the thing. A lot of these people, they're used to like these Instagram models and shit like that, like Kim Kardashian or whatever, with like the huge tits and the big ass or whatever. Ghislaine's got a nice natural body. It's a nice natural body, good titties, good ass, nice and in shape. She's not rail thin. She's not one of these chicks that has a six pack or whatever. She's not she's not one of those ones that sounds like a 12-year-old boy. You know what I mean? If you've ever heard like a female bodybuilder talking, they're like, yeah, and I'm a woman and I'm a bodybuilder. Like that's what they sound. Constant voice cracks. Like that's if you want to know what a female bodybuilder sounds like, just imagine the most voice cracks you've ever heard from like a pubescent boy and multiply that by 10. That's what the fuck they sound like. And but Ghislaine, she's not like that. She doesn't have like that insane jacked body. She's nice and thin, dude. I'm gonna look up Ghislaine Maxwell bikini pic right now. just to cross-examine my own testimony, because I'm one of those people. Hey, I I can be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Ghislaine Maxwell has an absurd body. I'm pretty sure Ghislaine Maxwell is like one of the best bodies I've ever seen. Yeah, Ghislaine Maxwell bikini, cross-reference images. Jarvis enhance. Jarvis Jarvis show me Ghislaine Maxwell's tits. Jarvis enhance on the nipple pokes. Yeah. Posed in an American flag bikini. Dude, she's hot as shit, dude. Ghislaine Maxwell has an absurd banging body. Yeah, I get it, dude. I get it. Pedophile or whatever. Israeli intelligence asset. I understand that, but I mean, oh my God. Dude, her tits are crazy. And she's got nice thick legs, dude. Ghislaine Maxwell, I just did the MILF rankings. I just like ranked the top Hollywood MILFs of all time. And as we all know, everyone in Hollywood is a pedophile who's been to Epstein's Island. So, I mean, we could have put Ghislaine Maxwell on that list, and I think she would have made the top 10. Because dude, it's crazy. She has an insane body. It's absurd. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just one of those things, right? When you see like a homeless dude, but he has like a chiseled fucking jawline, right? And it's just like, why are you here? Why are you in this? Hot people shouldn't be in shitty situations. I don't know maybe it's just like the pre-programming I have in my brain or whatever, or maybe society has conditioned me to believe it. But you see like a hot person, working the counter at Chipotle or whatever, and you're like, why the fuck are you there? Like, you don't, society was set up, specifically American society was set up like specifically so that hot people didn't have to do anything. And that's how you know the economy's getting bad, dude. When you see a fucking fine ass like blonde lady, right? Like a hot blonde white chick. You see like a black chick behind the counter and you're like, you can kind of understand it just because of like the background that a lot of black people come from. But you see like a 6 foot tall, like leggy blonde chick behind the counter, which I'm not the personal biggest fan of like legs. I know some people are. I'm not the biggest fan. That's why Margot Robbie wasn't part of the MILF ranking, which, yeah. And she just doesn't have that MILF ethos around her, and ChatGPT knew that, which is why it didn't include her in the list. But yeah, not the biggest leg guy. But I know a lot of people are. And Ghislaine's got that banging body. But what's going on with Ghislaine? Dude, I think she was like a lesbian as well. Or she was a pet. She was something like that. She wasn't like into like grown men, right? Like, even I'm looking at this picture now, and like Jeff Epstein's kind of like giving her a little peck on the forehead, and she's like, "Get me the fuck out of here." But so she's probably having a time in that women's prison right now. She's in like Tallahassee. It's fucking hot and steamy, and she's just eating disgusting box, and I'm sure she's having a great time in there. So Jeffrey Epstein's longtime associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, is meeting a top Justice Department official as pressure grows on the Trump administration to release files linked to the disgraced financier's sex trafficking network. I talked about this a little bit. I don't know if it was last week or the week before. The fact that they keep calling him a financier it's so funny. This guy's he's a moron. I would not trust Jeffrey Epstein with $5. I wouldn't trust him to pay me back $5. Like, seriously. This guy, he's not. They gave him billions of dollars to run his pedophile empire. He wasn't a financier. He was like a fucking, I don't know. He was like a procurer of children for billionaires. That's what Jeffrey Epstein was. He wasn't out here fucking. I just watched The Big Short, dude. Jeffrey Epstein wasn't the fucking quant. All right. he wasn't fucking rolling up to Wall Street meetings with a briefcase being like, "All right, here's what we're." He wasn't that guy, dude. Billionaires would be like, "Hey, Jeff, here's $500 million. Make me a pedophile island." That's what Jeffrey Epstein was. So it's just funny that they keep calling him a financier, a disgraced financier. So the meeting will take place in Tallahassee. That's where she's at, where Maxwell is serving a 20-year prison sentence for sex trafficking, the BBC's U.S. partner CBS News reports. And it's so funny to me that like the prison sentence for sex trafficking is like 20 years. That's like the same amount of time you can get for like a kilo of meth or something, like 20 years slavery. That's what trafficking is. You are capturing another human being, taking away their freedom, That's what slavery is, right? And I don't know if you guys are super familiar with the history of the United States of America, but we had this war where about 1 million people died at a time when there was probably only 30 million people in the country. And in this war, about 1 million people died. I'm trying to remember. I think it was 600,000 on one side and 500,000 on the other, or maybe it was 600,000 total. Yeah, I think it was 600,000 total. I can't really fucking remember, but a lot of people died. A significant portion of the population died in order to end slavery, right? That's what the whole war was about. It was about slavery. We killed hundreds, maybe not, yeah, hundreds of thousands of people were killed by the United States government in order to end slavery. And now it's like you get a 20-year prison sentence. It's crazy. You should kill those people. Right? You should continue the precedent that was set during the Civil War, and you should just murder them. All right? You don't get to have slaves, man. It's like it's just so funny to me. They just changed the name of it. They changed the name of it from slave trading to sex trafficking or human trafficking. It's like no, it's slavery with a different name. It's we fought a war over this. We decided already you have slaves, we're gonna kill you. So I don't know why that precedent has changed now, but Deputy Attorney General Attorney General. I was like, General Todd Blanche is a fucking lawyer. No, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche said he planned to speak to Maxwell about any information she had on other people whom Epstein may have helped sexually abuse girls. Maxwell's lawyer told BBC that she was looking forward to her meeting, I'm sure she is, which could help determine whether she will testify before Congress. First of all, no, she won't. If Ghislaine Maxwell testifies before Congress, she's gonna like say the name of one person, and everyone's gonna freak out and be like, arrest him, put him in jail. If she even gets to Congress, which she's not going to get to Congress in the first place. And the whole thing about the whole conspiracy, and it's not a conspiracy, about the Epstein thing is that the reason he was killed in his jail cell and they tried to cover it up as a suicide, and the reason that the names and the lists and the files and stuff haven't been released yet is because members of the U.S. government are involved in it. So yeah, it's like one of those things where it's like, it's like if a chick comes up to you and she's like, "Hey, I want to sleep with a dude tonight. Who should I choose?" You're obviously gonna say yourself, right? Unless you're happily married or you're gay or whatever. But most likely you're gonna say yourself. You're gonna be like, "I would be the best dude to sleep with tonight," right? It's like that. It's you're sending the people who are going to face repercussions for this issue to decide whether or not they're going to face repercussions for this issue, right? It's like asking like a murderer to be on the prosecution team in his own trial. That's basically what you're doing when we send these people to talk to Ghislaine Maxwell, you know? They're going to be like, "Hey, Ghislaine, we're not going to fucking put you in front of Congress, and we know you're not going to give us any names because we were there." So we know how fucking secretive you could be. So yeah, we're not going to get any names out of this list because the people investigating this crime were the ones who committed the crime. I don't know how anyone was ever under any illusion that Trump or anyone else was going to actually prosecute this crime. They're not. They're not going to fucking do it because they committed the crime right next to her. That's why they killed Epstein. They killed Epstein because they committed the crimes with Epstein, and Epstein would have exposed that fact. That's why they killed him, and that's why Ghislaine is never going to face a trial. And it just goes to show that the BBC is just propaganda. But let's see what else they have to say. The latest developments come as interest has switched back to Ghislaine Maxwell, 63. I don't know what she looks like now. She might be a fine-ass 63. A convicted sex trafficker in prison for helping Epstein abuse young girls. Hey, look, I get it. Some people, I could separate from the art from the artist here. That's all I'm saying, dude. Michael Jackson. Yeah, he probably did that to those kids. He was a weird dude. He definitely... I'm not going to say he definitely did it, but let's say he did. I'm still going to listen to Blue Gangster, dude. Blue Gangster is a fire song regardless of what Michael Jackson did. And Ghislaine Maxwell is hot regardless of what she did. So calls have grown from the public, including President Donald Trump's loyal supporters and lawmakers, for the Justice Department to release files related to the Epstein case. If Ghislaine Maxwell has information about anyone who has committed crimes against victims, the FBI and DOJ, sorry, will hear what she has to say. Blanche wrote in a post on X earlier this week. Okay, well that, I was really cynical about this whole thing. I was really jaded, thinking that they weren't going to actually prosecute the case properly. They weren't going to actually investigate the situation properly. But, he made a post on X earlier this week. So, all my concerns are gone. All my concerns have been lifted on my shoulders, and I just feel 20 pounds lighter. What a relief, man. I really thought she was going to get away with it. But this guy said on Twitter, he's going to prosecute it. So that's very good. Yeah, you know what else people say on Twitter? You know what else people say on Twitter? This cryptocurrency is gonna make you a millionaire if you give me $1,000. That's what other people say on Twitter. So, yeah, not the most trustworthy place of information, in my opinion. So, on Wednesday, the Wall Street Journal reported that Attorney General Pam Bondi informed Trump during a May briefing that his name appeared in DOJ documents related to the Epstein case. Yeah, dude, there's like 1,000 pictures of them together. It's it's so funny watching people like vehemently deny the fact that Trump was like friends or like was somehow involved with Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein, and it's like I don't have that many pictures with like my best friends in the world, dude. Like Trump and Epstein have more pictures together than I have with my family. Like if you consider every picture I've taken with every person in my family, there's more pictures of Trump and Epstein together. It's insane how many pictures there are of them together. he must be he must be pissed. But the White House has pushed back, dismissing the story as fake news. Trump, that's not going to work anymore. It's the whole fake news thing worked because it was actually fake news. There was actually fake news regarding Trump and like Russian collusion and stuff like that. And that's why that worked in the first place, because it was actually it doesn't right? Trump, they're walking in the fucking kitchen and Trump's like up on the counter with his hand in the cookie jar, just munching down fucking chocolate chip cookies, just munching down those Nestle Toll House fucking classic chocolate chip cookies. And he's been like, I've never even seen a cookie before. Like that's he's being a caricature of himself at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if like the Trump clone theory starts in, because he's literally acting like a caricature of himself, calling the fact that he was involved with Epstein fake news when he clearly was. And I understand why he's doing it, dude. He's backed into a corner. There's mountains of literal mountains of evidence. There's like there's 10,000 hours of evidence linking Trump to Jeffrey Epstein, right? And so obviously, he only has one thing in his back pocket that he can pull out in this situation, and that's fake news. So I understand why he's doing it, but it is insane. But the BBC also says being named in the documents is not evidence of any criminal activity, nor has Trump ever been accused of any wrongdoing with the Epstein case. I've heard a fair amount of people accuse him of this. Scroll on Twitter for 10 minutes and you'll find someone accusing him of this. And it's just so funny. Tim Dillon has said this 1,000 times, and no one's listening to this anyway, but if you are and you've never heard Tim Dillon talk about this, it's so funny. But it's just like there's no me being very close friends with a sex trafficker doesn't mean anything, dude. Just because I have a kilo of meth in the back of my trunk doesn't mean I sell or deal with meth at all. Right? Like that. Just because you caught me with a stolen car that was reported stolen last week, I don't know anything about cars, dude. What are you even talking about? I don't know how engines work, man. What why do you think because I'm driving a stolen car right now that I'm in a stolen car? Like that's just because my name isn't in the Epstein file. No one else's name, no one I know that I know of has their name in the Epstein files. It's just none of my boys are in there. I don't know. So I would, I would venture to guess that having your name on a list that was owned by Jeffrey Epstein, it means you were involved with him, right? It's insane that they try to pretend like it's not. While campaigning for the presidency last year, Trump had promised to release such files about the well-connected sex offender, but his supporters have grown have since grown frustrated, with the administration's handling of the issue, including its failure to deliver a rumored client list of Epstein. In a memo earlier this month, the Justice Department and FBI said there was no such list. There's no such list, guys. I know this entire thing is a blackmail operation of me trying to extort powerful politicians, having sex with children in order to make them do what I want them to do in order to blackmail them. But I didn't make a list of the people who went to this island. Right? I didn't make a list of the people that I had blackmail information on. I didn't make a list of the people I attempted to blackmail because we were just having fun here, guys. There was no ulterior motive. It's insane. It makes no sense. I'm just going to be done reading this. I'm done. So, and now we're on to our next story. So, Idaho murders Brian Kohberger sentenced to life without parole. And this is kind of insane to me because Idaho seems like one of those states where they'll still like hang you from a tree for stealing a horse, right? Like that's Idaho seems like one of those fucking states where they like you still might like encounter a dude who's like tied to a railroad track by like an evil villain. Like that's what Idaho seems like to me. So the fact that this dude, I think he got a plea deal. I think that's why they're just giving him life without parole. There's no way Idaho has done away with lethal injection. There's no way Idaho has done away with like the guillotine or anything. I call it a guillotine just because of MMA and stuff like that. But there's no way they've done away with like hanging people from trees. I'm surprised the fucking the judge presiding over the case wasn't a dude with a cowboy hat and a gigantic mustache and a 6-shooter on his hip, being like, "You son of a bitch, you real down dirty son of a bitch, killed those poor children." I'm surprised that wasn't the judge presiding over this case. But Kohberger told the judge he respectfully declined to speak at today's sentencing hearing after multiple emotional victim impact statements. Dude, what if he just dropped that diss track real quick? What if Brian Kohberger just, dropped one of like those Chief Keef smoking on Tuka? Lights up the blunt real quick, smoking out op pack, kill 4 of the ops. And the ops were innocent college students in a dorm room. So what to know about Kohberger's sentencing? So sentence, Idaho District Judge Stephen Hippler sentenced to Brian Kohberger 30. This dude was 30 killing people in college, man. That just, something about that pisses me off. Like if he was also like 20, 21, 22 years old, something like that, or like even 18, I would be like, all right, at least you were like chilling at the college because that's like where you live. But this guy was like 30 years old, lurking around a college campus as if he couldn't be an already bigger loser. And he just killed these people. He like pulled up in their bedroom in the middle of the night and like stabbed him in the neck or so. I don't know exactly what he did. And I don't think anyone really knows because he didn't testify too much because he got that plea deal. But like I think that's how he did it. I think they were all like sleeping, and he just pulled up and killed them real quick. So I mean, yeah, if he couldn't be a bigger loser, he just a real fucking loser. So he killed to 4 consecutive life sentences for the 2022 fatal stabbings of 4 university students. It's just so funny that they specify consecutive life sentences as opposed to concurrent life sentences. And if you don't know consecutive versus concurrent means all at once, right? So if you get charged with like 8 counts of robbery and each count is like 8 years in jail, the judge can sentence you to serving those sentences concurrently, which means you serve them all at once, basically, as opposed to 8 years for each one. It's just 8 total. That's the difference between currently and consecutively. So it's just funny that they specified consecutively in this case because it's like, yeah, obviously that's the only way to serve a life sentence. But anyway, the victims. Okay, so victims. The victim's family and others involved in the case provided emotional impact statements in court, including the victim's 2 surviving roommates. I really do wonder if like the 2 surviving roommates were like a little bit like, fucking finally, dude. Finally someone killed Josh. Josh never cleans the fucking dishes, dude. We have fruit flies in our house because Josh never cleans up after himself. I wonder if there was a little bit of like a moment of relief when they were like, Josh isn't going to be your roommate anymore, and they were just like, thank fucking God. And then they got told that he was killed, and they were like, yeah, well, that kind of fucking sucks. I wonder if there was a moment of relief, like fucking thank God Kelly is gone, or Kelly's always leaving her fucking clothes around the house. Jesus Christ. But rest in peace. But I'm not accusing them of being, poor roommates. But the plea agreement. So Koberger, who would have faced trial next month, changed his plea to guilty to 4 counts of first-degree murder and burglary. I don't know why they added that one on top. In the deaths of Kaylee Gonclaves, Madison Mogan, Xana Kernodle. I don't know why I'm even saying their names in the first place. This is a little bit disrespectful. And Ethan Chapin at an on-campus house. As part of a deal, Koberger admitted to the killings, waived his right to appeal in exchange for prosecutors agreeing not to seek a death sentence. I don't know why these people just don't lie to like the defendants. I'd just be like, oh yeah, dude, we're not gonna seek a death sentence, and just turn around like, can you believe that fucking moron believed that, right? Like the police are allowed to lie to people, when they interrogate them or whatever. So I don't know. I don't know why like the lawyers can't just lie. I don't know why they can't just be like, oh yeah, dude, we're not gonna like give you the death sentence for killing 4 people. That's insane. Why would we do that? And then just turn around and be like, yeah, we're gonna fucking kill them. You think we're stupid? You think we're not gonna like kill a guy who killed 4? Yeah, obviously we're gonna kill him. Like that's what I'd be doing. I'd be like, yeah, Brian, there's no need to worry. We're not gonna give you the death sentence. And then as I'm walking away, like within earshot of him, I'd be like, can you believe that guy actually fucking believed me for 2 seconds? So declined to speak. Koberger told the judge he respectfully declined to speak after the sentencing hearing. So evidence. Hitler last week vacated a gag order that prevented certain figures, including lawyers and law enforcement officials, from speaking publicly. I don't know why they had that on this guy in the fucking first place. The judge will soon determine which documents may be unsealed, potentially disclosing new evidence in the case. After the sentencing, hundreds of Moscow Police Department records were released. And Moscow is also a city in Idaho. Yeah, I'm not going to read any of this. I'm not one of those people that's like a murder podcast or whatever where I need to be like, and then he brutally ripped out the intestines of all. No, I don't need to get over gory. I already was a little bit disrespectful by being like, how do you pronounce this fucking idiot's name? And it's like a 20-year-old girl that was murdered. So I'm not going to go into the details of it, but... And next up, we got our piece of celebrity news for the week. So Winona Ryder was absolutely in love with Al Pacino in her early 20s. I was throwing myself at him. Oh, yeah, the millionaire actor, the millionaire most famous actor at that time, the Oscar-winning millionaire actor, Al Pacino, you were throwing yourself at him. I've kind of had a little bit. I haven't fully had enough of Winona Ryder's bullshit, but I've had a fair. I'm kind of done with her. It's like, oh, you're a weird, creepy girl. Oh, you fucking. She's just one of those girls that's like, I'm emo, and she wears black eyeliner. Like, I'm sure she's not like a bad person, but I've kind of had. Oh, you thought Al Pacino was hot? You thought the dude who was in the Godfather movies and is also a millionaire and also one of the most famous, influential actors in Hollywood is attractive? That's crazy, Winona. I've had enough of fucking Winona, dude. So the Stranger Things actress recalled in an interview with how she L-E-L-L-E-L-A-L something, how she was actively in love with the Hollywood legend while they were doing a workshop for Richard III in her early 20s, which later was leveraged into their 1996 documentary film Looking for Richard. They made a documentary about making a play. I'm pretty sure Richard III is a Shakespeare play. They've been Why do you need a workshop to do a Shakespeare play? They've been doing it for 500 years. Why do you need a workshop to do a Shakespeare play? I think they would have figured out how to do it properly over the course of 500 years. Why do you need a workshop for that? And why do you need to make a documentary about it? So I was absolutely in love with Al Pacino when I was working with him, recalled Ryder, now 53, of her time with Pacino, now 85, in the mid-90s. She continued, he was obsessed with coffee, and he would take me all over New York, like to the weirdest places, to try different coffees. I'm 22 or whatever. God, she's just so uninteresting. Oh my God, dude. Al Pacino is getting in there. There's just a picture of them making out. All right. And when he would drop her off wherever she was staying in the city following their coffee hangs, I'm like, I love you, I'm really completely in love with you, Ryder added. And he was like, aw, honey, no. Dude. Pacino said, I'm a wop. I ain't got time for this wasp pussy, dude. Pacino had enough of that. He said, nah, I'm good. I don't need that. Fuck off. What a beast, dude. Aw, honey, no. Then, like 10 years later, I meet his girlfriend who's younger than me, she told Elle, with a laugh, seemingly referring to Argentine actress Lucila Sola, who Pacino dated from 2008 to 2008, 2008 to 2018. Continued writer of her infatuation with Pacino. Dude, I'm fucking throwing myself at you. Props to Pacino, though. Because Winona, even now, Winona's a fine lady. She's a good looking lady to look at, dude. So credit to Pacino in that incident. I don't think Pacino was at the island. If Pacino wasn't getting active with the writer, he probably wasn't on the island. I think that's fair to say. He has like a fair amount of control over his own sexual urges. So yeah, shout out to Pacino for that one. Bit of a beast move, being like, nah, honey, I'm good. I don't really like I like blondes. I like bitches with like, you know. Just Pacino's 5'2" ass being like, fuck off, bitch. I don't need you. What a dog. So, yeah. Uh, and despite them not working out romantically, I still play poker with him sometimes. The girl interrupted actress shared, it's the best. Pacino and Ryder would go on to star together once more after looking for Richard in 2002's Simone and were photographed as they hung out together during the 35th FI AFI Life Achievement Award tribute to Pacino back in 2007. Hey, man, uh, we have to give Pacino a bit of credit there for just not being like not cracking it. To be quite honest, he wasn't really getting in there. He could. I would take advantage of that opportunity right now. I might be Winona Ryder in that situation, being like, Winona, please, I would love with you. Winona, please. I might be a bit of a Winona in that situation. And now we're on to our copper news for the week. We got a little bit of economic news. So copper prices have surged to record highs and they could jump higher. Here's why. I've been looking at the copper futures. All right. Let me look at it right now. I have it pulled up on my phone. We reached a peak the other day. It was just like a temporary peak. It wasn't even for an hour of I think it was 592 a pound, which is insane. Like anything the prices we've been experiencing recently with copper is above anything we've ever heard. Like you can just look up copper futures on Google, and there's like a graph that you can go back in time and look at. It seems to have plateaued around uh $5.80 a pound, which makes sense. That peak. What was the peak? It was 5.95, so almost $6 a pound, which is crazy. But you can look at like the year, like how much it's been over the past year, and at its lowest, it was 4.19 a pound. But that was when Trump was president, so I don't know what that was. But yeah, uh, but it has been steadily growing. This isn't all completely due to Donald Trump and his pressures and stuff, but there was a big jump recently when he announced the tariffs that are going into effect on August 1st. Um, yeah, it's a 50% tariff on all imported copper. So that's why the prices have surged so much, but they've been going up steadily over the past year a bit. Even when Biden wasn't president, being like, or even when Biden was president, being like, "Hey, Jack." Or wait, no, this isn't a year. This is like from the time. Okay, so from the time Trump's been in office, I don't know what YTD means. I thought it meant like a full year, but yeah, since Trump's been announced, he's been getting in there. And the highest price at opening, which is like the first part of the day that you can like buy copper or whatever, or that you can trade on copper. I guess these aren't people that are actually buying like pieces of scrap copper and copper ingots and stuff like that. These are people that are like trading on whether the price will go up or down. The highest price on opening was 584. So yeah, there was a little peak there where it was 596 a pound, but now it's at 580. I'd say that's where it's about to plateau out. If you've got like a stash of copper, if you're like an electrician or some kind of construction worker, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I watched The Big Short and I was like, I'm gonna give some fucking financial advice today. I have no idea what you should do. Um, yeah, but I think just chilling on it until the tariffs go into effect, because they're saying like the big jump we experienced recently, which was like mid or like early July, from about $5 a pound to about like 580 a pound. They're saying that was because of like tariff speculation, but they're like, once the speculation ends, the prices are going to drop back down. But it's like, but once the actual tariff goes into effect, they're going to go up, right? Because it's right. You can't import cheap copper from outside of the United States. Like, you're forced to buy it from within the United States. So the sellers within the United States are going to jack up the price a little bit because they know you can't get it from anywhere else. So I think the prices are going to get even higher once the 50%, because 50% is a lot, especially when we're talking about copper, because there's probably no copper refinement in the United States. So they're probably getting just straight up refined copper, like stuff that's ready to be turned into wires or stuff that's already wires. And when they import it, they're importing like probably thousands of tons at a time on shipping containers, right? And a ton of copper is probably worth, I mean, being conservative here, $8,000, probably more than that. Yeah, probably significantly more than that. It's probably worth significantly more than $8,000. I'm trying to. I don't really know how much it goes for wholesale. I imagine it's even more wholesale than it is for like the type of scrapping that I do. So I mean, yeah, it's probably like 10 grand for a ton of copper, and then you have 1,000 on there. I don't know what 1,000 times 10,000 is. Let's do a little bit of math here. 100,000, a million. Okay, we're not we're not doing all that. But yeah, it's gonna be expensive, dude. It's gonna be very expensive, and a lot of people are gonna make a lot of money. Hopefully, including me. This is a lot of people have talked shit about the tariffs, and I don't think Trump's been good really at anything in his presidency. But this is a lot of people in America are gonna make a lot of money, and it's just not going to collapse the economy. It fundamentally can't. Like any business, any like large business that supports the economy, that's going to be heavily affected by that. The government's just going to give them a bunch of money, and then they're just going to be fine. So everything will probably be all good. But that's all I've got for today, guys. I hope you have a good day, a good week, a good year, a good life. Hope you make some copper money. Hey, start looking at it, dude. I've been on the copper grind early. I don't know what trading futures is like. I don't really even know what trading stocks is like, but I don't know. I'd say hop on that just a little bit now. I wouldn't say go full force into it because the tariffs are they're probably going to end up going away pretty quickly because other countries are going to be like, fuck, we can't import copper to the U.S., it's probably a pretty major market for the importation of copper. So the tariffs are probably going to get like smoothed out pretty quickly, and they're going to make some deal with the president. But until then, if you can get your hands on some copper, I'd say that's good. But that's all I've got for today, guys. I hope you have a good day, a good week, a good year, a good life. And I'll see you guys on Monday. Maybe before then, who knows? Peace.